Welcome back to another trains video where we talk about everything but mostly trains. Today we are here to see the General. If you don't know about the General, it's one of the greatest stories of a locomotive that took place in the Civil War. Come learn more about it with me. We're here at the Southern Museum of Civil War and Locomotive History. Come inside. This is the General, one of the most famous locomotives in United States history. Why? Because it was involved in the Great Locomotive Chase during the Civil War. The Civil War was nearing its end, and the South was still fighting hard, but the North was trying to find a way to capture the city of Chattanooga. In April of 1862, William Andrews and a group of spies infiltrated Georgia. All but Andrews were soldiers in the Union Army. Their plan was to steal a steam locomotive and burn bridges on the Western and Atlantic Railroad. The Western and Atlantic Railroad was the railroad that tied Atlanta and Chattanooga together. The Union Army thought that if they cut the railroad in two, they would be able to capture Chattanooga without the Confederate Army to be able to reinforce. Andrews and his raiders infiltrated Georgia and gathered at Big Shanty, where I am today. Big Shanty is now called Kennesaw. We're here at Big Shanty, and the railroad still operates. This is where the General was stolen. While the General was at a water stop, Andrews and his men stole the train. Can you imagine William Andrews and his raiders sneaking up to the General? It must have made their heart race. After they stole the train, they were pursued by the General's conductor, William A. Fuller. William first pursued them on foot, but then commandeered 3 other trains on their chase of the General. The last locomotive was the Texas, also an American-type locomotive. Fuller pursued Andrews backwards in the Texas. The chase lasted 62 miles until the General ran out of water and wood. At that point, Andrews and his raiders ran away, every man for themselves. They were all ultimately captured by the Confederates. Andrews and 7 other raiders were hung. Some of the raiders escaped, and some of them were traded in a prisoner exchange. All of the soldiers were rewarded the first Congressional Medal of Honor. Andrews, though, could not earn it because he was a civilian spy. William A. Fuller was heralded a hero for his determination on chasing the General. They hailed him on being the man who saved the Confederacy. The General continued to run all through the Civil War on the Western and Atlantic Railroad. After the war, it was saved from scrapping, and toured America as a moving museum. It was restored by the Louisville and Nashville Railroad for the 100th anniversary of the Civil War in 1961. It toured the country for the next 4 years, and its popularity exploded once again. After it was done touring, it went to Chattanooga, where it stayed for a while, and then ultimately came to Big Shanty, where it is here now. This is one of the coolest locomotives I've ever seen, and probably one of the most historic. Now you can see why the General is one of the most famous locomotives. Follow me and let's look at the General. As you can see, the General is a 440 American type locomotive, and it was built in 1855 for the Western and Atlantic Railroad. It's amazing to me because it's mostly made out of wood. The General was popularized by American movies. All in all, it's a great chapter in American history, the Great Locomotive Chase.
Another video made by